Guys.
So when we start my preparation, first of all, I like to think for.
Again, it's not audible. Thoda louder, I do not know.
You respected Sir VK, I respected Sir VK and also father, then what was seniors and our friends. So they will be a little bit different because I will put up all the details on the screen because we have the opportunity to ask any questions.
Sorry to interrupt. Again, it's not audible.
And since I have some language issues, Sir VK used to go all the time, I wrote down all my thoughts and expressions so that I won't miss any points. Sometimes friends says, only test, don't do it, because they don't understand my English. I just wrote them, I only one translator from English to English. I don't want to contaminate my mind by those great philosophers, so I never read any of their books for this very topic. Since this is my first presentation, I want to keep it clean because we don't like to read. We really want to think like a philosopher because we enjoy it. And this will be just my thoughts and opinion. And I don't have to say it again and again that, oh, this is just my opinion. I'm not forcing anybody to accept me. Whatever comes out from me is just my opinion. Though I may even say, you must be What is philosophy? What is philosophy according to me? We often heard that philosophy is a search for the truth. And we also heard that truth can never be found. So for me, in simple terms, philosophy is a search for the truth which will never be found. It's like a breakup story where a guy keeps missing his girlfriend whom he never married in the first place. Sir VK used to tell us that the first two lines of the introduction from the book Metaphysics by Kamei is very important because it talks about the communication of human mind to understand and define things as a whole. I felt that it's too redundant and hear it all the time, and I don't want to hear it anymore. I want to focus more on possibilities and common sense, which I will majorly share in the later part. I think most philosophy students or even teachers are not inspired but are brainwashed by the great philosophers. So I sometimes agree with the naturalist views of rejecting hidden books. Philosophy is all about objectivity and subjectivity. It always comes back and revolves around it, and mostly physical and non-physical or abstract. While the philosophers are uselessly busy discussing about the things, but not all, the world has already moved on practically, even from the ancient times. It seems philosophy doesn't have any great impact on our society these days, or even in the olden days, though sometimes some philosophers may be right. But even then, their voices are never loud enough to be heard by everybody. When the other department students ask me, how many members are there in your department? I said, 20 in a section, and then I lied, saying, I like smaller class for a better teacher-student ratio. And we are very less actually. It seems the world is moved by the sentiment of the mass. Philosophers must use all their mind or mental effort to dominate with their good thoughts. If they can or not able to use their mind to convince people, then what's the point of thinking? Unable to think to convince or unable to find a way by thinking to convince the mass, unlike those mediocre thinking politicians. As Plato said, that kings should become philosophers, or that philosophers should become kings. Philosophy should be left open, but philosophers should have their choices and conclusions, and not die hard fans or fully skeptic practically with until there. And some choices and conclusions must evolve over time. That's what I mean. Philosophy must be about solving things, not about taking everything apart and leaving it at peace. Like the kids to the toy, taking everything apart and never knows how to fix it there. Sometimes we need to refresh ourselves and rethink. Are those philosophical thoughts from those olden days still relevant today? I don't know which one, but I believe some will not. So far, philosophers have done enough about taking things apart in search for the truth. But in this new era, now I think we must focus more on articulating things again, focusing on the solution rather than thinking about useless, unnecessary, and impractical things that again edit. That's how I feel. Like what? Like why this pain is due? Why our nose is not downside up, etc. Thinking about everything, they see. I mean everything. It's not very important. We have infinitely too many important questions to ask. So we don't need to make it more complicated than they already are. In the film The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, comedy, science fiction movie as well as a book, there it says, the universe is the ultimate answer. You just have to choose the right question. Like, for example, the number 42 is the answer. But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense without the question. The two can be like 4 plus 2 is 42. 9 plus 3 is 42. That's the answer. And 42 is the answer, but we have to frame the question. Like the question will be 40 plus 2. Something like that. It is a question. You can frame any question to come to the solution. It doesn't make sense without any question. But we don't know the question. The answer is already clear in front of us. And very I just want to clear out it. I find it very much important. Like this table is round or something like that. This is a solution where we can ask many questions. I believe sometimes the answer is very simple. It's like a magic. It's very hard to know those magic trick. But if we know it is very simple, we will even value the magician or a philosopher. So they are making things look more complicated to preserve their dignity. Okay, jokes apart, where the tricks are very simple, it takes genius to get it or thumbs up to get kind of tricks. Common sense is nothing but the fundamental essence of being a human. Or you can also say it is the most basic thing embedded in each and every one of us. It is some of those essence that pieces of existence. So you cannot further ask what it is, what is the fundamental. And when we talk about basic fundamental things, there is the bottom line. You don't go for it is just what it is. It is. And we don't know what it is. We just know it. You can't explain it. I think you know it. There is a conscience. People talk about anesthesia. Everyone knows anesthesia. The person is inducing the coma and till now, no scientists or any researchers know how it functions in your body, but it works. Common sense is something like that. You don't know where it comes from, but it works. And as we all agree that we will never know the ultimate fundamental reality of anything because it never ends. It is infinite. Like there is no biggest thing or smallest things in the universe. There is no limit for big and small. So sometimes, why should we waste time and bother about this powerful reach? Let's focus on what works and make things a little bit simple instead of the multiple profiles of God. We seem to divert from the real important things sometimes. We should always forget more on the things which works and leave the rest. And make people more easy to understand and enlighten them in the best possible way. So we have to common sense can be categorized into three categories. Primary common sense, that's our basic common sense, basic sense, like for example, babies sucking milk from the breast, which no one taught them, common for all the babies. Babies love, though they may not understand the jokes. They don't teach or tell them it's a joke, but they know it by self-alone. Common for all the babies, another. The innate common instinct for a sense. Second one is secondary common sense and the tertiary common sense. Two types of common sense. The secondary common sense is actually like our senses. These are all the common senses. And the secondary one is what is the basic one. The secondary one is our common senses. So our senses, touch, hearing, smell, feeling, or even our reason, etc. When I pinch the skin, it feels pain. It will feel the same with everyone. There is also a common sense. There is for all. And don't say again that some people don't feel pain. There's an error. And don't bring that error or exceptional case to the primary level doing everything. Like gender pronoun from LGBT, QRS plus. We're talking about common sense here, not nonsense. Third part is tertiary common sense. Tertiary common sense. I'll focus more on here. This is a common sense. This is a social common sense, which we are mostly familiar with. This is the sense that is lacking in many scientists, computer nerds, philosophers, engineers, and even doctors, etc. Because they mostly deals of technical stuff and goes to the real world. People will come out and spit on someone else's face because there is no social common sense. Unlike the first two categories, tertiary common sense can be broadened through feeling information, through sense experience, reason, transcendental experience, etc. If the information you feel is right, then it will be right. If the information is wrong, then it can be rejected with this sense. If you analyze it properly, through reason, etc. As reason falls under secondary common sense, this is also common sense. Common sense is not just the term we usually use in general day-to-day life. It is a very broad and wide concept. Relative to lack of time, I will say this common sense. This common sense, as I suppose, will focus more on the tertiary sense. Common sense, that's common. Common sense is like a function of rounding off in mathematics, which cut down the unnecessary, indefinite, recurring in decimal numbers. Sometimes also recurring decimal numbers, it will never end. Like a pi. It is a good tool in mathematics that makes things simple by blocking the possibility for absurdity. The most famous example is the value of pi.
Guys, don't talk. You are coming late and disturbing others.
This value is 3.14, 15967. This will continue, just continue recurring in without very similar number. It will just continue forever. It goes on to infinity, but through rounding off, the value of pi becomes 3.14. If the number after 2 digits from the decimal point is less than 5, then the previous number will change. But if it is more than 4, then the previous will be increased by 1. I think it is very simple example. What we do, this is wrong. I have to put this one here. Oh yeah, 4.124. We will check this last number. I'm just reminding you. Everybody knows it, but I'm just reminding you. 4.124, this is 4 less than 5. That's why it will be just 4.12, it will not change. It will cut out all the infinite numbers of the recurring numbers. No, then it has to not continue. And 4.127, this is more than 4. If it is 5, or more than 4, so So this is more than 4, that's why 1.27, and this 2 will come next to 3. And this is a which is more shorter and more simple. But if you don't do like this, then there will be no mess. You can do forever. Which sacrificing the negligible amount of accuracy, which says mathematics, or else. No one will study mathematics because it will be impossible to write those infinite numbers in the first place, even before any calculations are started. For most, improbably, it may be very limited and very imperfect. It could be almost imperfect. It is a high school topic I think most of us need. Good discussion about common sense. What is more of the sometimes in philosophy we don't know when to use the rounding off. Yes. Philosophy is very complicated all the time. This was just my opinion. Sometimes in philosophy we don't know when to use the rounding off, and the study goes to infinite absurdity, which is useless and absurd and wastes our precious time. We often encounter this infinity loop in philosophy all the time, because actually we are not very good at it yet, and we all have to do much more. Everybody. Sarvika used to ask us, who comes first? Who comes first? Hen or the chicken? But then my question is, how can chicken be hatched from egg without the pork? Involving in it, without the pork involving in it. There is a discrimination against male. There is also the common sense which we all know it already, but don't realize it. We are too brainwashed by the direction or the manipulation. Our respected Sarvika used to say every time in class that in this world, Priyanka Chopra is full of common sense, wants to go naked without any interference from anybody. Then I used to think, will it not be better for her to go to Africa or somewhere else where nakedness is acceptable? If she cannot survive without nakedness. We have too many wishes. We also want to fly. That is impractical sometimes. Okay, it's just a job. We all know girls do it purposefully, and it's kind of a respect or service to men. Because, like every artist has also said, skin of women are easy to men. It is what it is. But if the specific society is not ready yet, then we must be very careful in doing the things we want. If you are not prepared thoroughly, if there is not expected, if possibly gracefully. Sometimes I think we should also respect the older culture from where we evolve, so that we can transition smoothly and understandably. That's how I try to express my views. And everything will force back under the realms of common sense. And if Priyanka Chopra said, I want to go naked in public freely, and if I say that thing is morally good for me, subjectively, and I find her to be a better target, what right does she have to tell me that I'm wrong, if it is right for me? Tiger being a better target among the deer, what right does a deer have? The tiger will eventually say, what's there to God, not me, and takes the deer alive. The only thing she can do is to protect herself from that person or avoid him, stay away from him, or kill him if she thinks he is right. There is a need for some kind of authority. Subjective morality will only create chaos. You can't make different constitution. You can't make different constitution for every citizen of the country. There must be some common ground for everyone under the umbrella of humanity. That's where common sense kicks in. In some sense, the process of existence for a given time. Some minority may always be affected at the cost for the goodness of the mass, or for a broader sense of goodness, that we just can't deny. Life itself is unfair. Very technical.
You are doing like this means you won't be allowed. Coming late also, it's not a doubt. Means it's a doubt whether I am going to allow you to present or not. And you are disturbing. The classroom coming. Go ahead.
Very technical philosophy is ethic aside. I believe we can make things simple if we look from the lens of humanitarian ground. This will all of the questions, yes.
Hey, thoda louder, yeah. Again and again, how many times? If you are not louder in this class, then in the future you became a teacher. How can students will listen?
I forgot it. And I think that lens is not bad. We can all, because everyone must accept that letting any girl brutally or not is morally wrong. Universally. Letting human being. Obeying it or not is not in our hands. But every rebel must wed a girl, knowing in his mind that it is wrong, and not having a thinking in his mind that it is a natural cause that the society is stupid, over-smart, no matter stupid, they are smart and right all the time, manipulating the nature and the balance. My emotion says it is wrong to rape. But when I put on the skeptic lens without humanity as there are no right and wrong in being skeptic, sometimes I think it may be right to rape also. Also because life is unfair and while trying to run away from the natural laws, we often stuck in a more difficult situation, so it stays sometimes to leave it as it is. Because when you manipulate the nature, not everyone gets the benefits. Only few get the benefits and others become more worse, which is a zero-sum game. That is what I believe. That is what I believe sometimes. But I do believe that emotions are not always wrong. There are some basic fundamental things that we don't even need to think about. It's not that we have to think about everything. Some things like I'm speaking and the sound is coming from my mouth, not from my bed. If someone is born in 2000, then he or she is not 60 years old now. These things, you don't need to waste time here. It took some time to think about it and come up with those examples. But it's just a waste of time. There's no purpose of philosophy to inquire about useless mundane things. If you are too technical without common sense, then there's no ending. You can't continue philosophy, like the philosophy books. While being technical, if I start asking the meaning of every word in the book, instead of the writer himself to never know the meaning of a single word as a whole. Forget the ending, where will be the beginning, the first. With common sense, the book works. Without common sense, you will be like a robot with no sense, but only dividing and cutting down things like a skeptic that never take decision in his life. Philosophy should be a balanced mixture of many things, not only one-sided. Philosophers should also have some common decision or opinion. Yes, the human being should not be too technical and lose ourselves in the process. We should act like human being in the best possible right way and try not to go astray. The person with common sense will never ask a very philosophical question like, why my stomach is full when I eat food? And I believe there are objective stupid questions like that for people who suffer from deficiency of common sense by birth, and we should not discriminate them, including some of those great philosophers like God. Okay, jokes aside, if someone punches Descartes in his face, he will never doubt his own existence ever again. He will change his most famous quote to simple, better, and efficient quote. That is, I heard, therefore I am. Pain is real, and it is more basic and simple than a complex consciousness. So common sense is the form that will make things simple. Then technicality here of the philosophy. If we don't have common sense or common ground in our subjective world or in our day-to-day life, people will do whatever they like, no respect for others and feel that they may be theirs. And no one will have to prove for anything, whether in philosophy or in real life. Albert Einstein, yes, was a great scientist and a great thinker. He always focused on simplicity and simplifying things. Two of his famous quotes were, at first he said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it clearly. And the second one says, nothing is more simple than greatness. This just means that greatness is a simple thing, or greatness is simple. Nothing is more simple than greatness. Indeed, to be simple is to be great. One of the most famous equations ever in the history of science was not 2 pages long. He studied for years, did research for years, did lots of thought experiments, lots and lots of calculation for years. After all, finally, he comes up with just this short and simple equation, E equals mc squared, which is just an in-form equation that changes the world. In philosophy, everything is possible and everything is impossible too. So what if our senses, that everything we see, touch, feel, and our consciousness are the ultimate reality? And what if our world and the universe is all that what it is? And it's all that we have, and there are no fantastic reality. It can be that simple thing. And lastly, I will end my presentation. This favorite quotation of mine, Albert Einstein, which says, make everything as simple as possible, but not simple. And the last reference is my reference. These are my reference, not already in particular. Stairs, nails, bathroom, classroom, lounge, etc. Take it away.
Hey, these are references.
Yes, sir. This is my reference.